It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Happy Monday, everybody, and the wait is over. NHL Awards tonight. We'll get into that as we work our way through this thing. Nielsen, Cass, and Gage are back with you on the Nielsen Media Coolbet Network, presented to you by Coolbet Canada. If you want to bet on the NHL draft this week, you can do that over at Coolbet Canada. If you've not yet signed up for an account, do so and use the code 2GUYS when you do, and you get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200 to bet on the NHL draft. Boys, let's start with this. What do you think of this shirt? This is a new shirt. I have a meeting later today. Okay, you guys are business guys, right? Like, what do you think? What do we think of this shirt? Be honest with me. If it's shit, just tell me it's shit.
No, it's good. I would ditch the hat for the meeting if you need to do your hair. If it's that type of meeting.
do the hair and
yeah.
Okay, good advice. Good advice, Cass. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah, no,
all right.
You're solid. You look like you're about to hit the yacht, Dusty. It's so right.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's good.
Throw
Monaco. I'm going to Monaco. Yeah. I'm in Monaco. That's my new look. All right, so the shirt gets approval. Lose the hat. I got it. What do you think about these? What do you think about these glasses they gave us last night at the Elks game? What do you think about this?
Are they so dark you can't see the horrible losses at home anymore?
That's why they gave them out. Boys, I could do an hour on the Elks right now. Like,
an hour.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I was thinking while I was doing the game last night was just like, man, sports talk radio is going to be lit up after this one. And I was like, oh, no, it stinks. Cass, that was a tough one last night. Like, when they went up 14-7, I was like, holy smokes, they might actually win this game.
And they keep, every game, they keep doing something to themselves. Like, whether it's just a penalty at the worst time, they can't. Like, I don't know what, it's not like I get to watch practice, but I don't know what they're doing with their like third and short situations.
Yeah.
Because they can't get a third and short. It's like, it's ridiculous. The amount of times thus far in this young season that they've just struggled there. And, oh man, I was so excited. And like the girls were there and they were in it and they were watching and they were like cheering. And then they stopped because there was like, how many points are there now, Dad? I'm like, they're not going to win, honey.
When they scored that first touchdown, like the reaction in the crowd, it was like they won the Grey Cup. Everybody's just like, yes, like points. And then, played well for half a game. And then they started the second half with the short kick, which I don't think was necessary. And everything kind of went downhill from there. But Gager, how are the hot dogs, buddy? How was slinging the wieners?
Well, it was exciting because I heard the roar of the crowd with those two touchdowns.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, oh my gosh, as I'm packing wieners, it's like, oh my gosh, we might have one here. But the best part of the whole night, Dusty, was when you came in for a visit, because the rules and regulations were upped a little bit for food standards, I guess, for some. And so the and I don't know what that says. I thought it was a good looking suit that you were wearing, but it was more along the lines of the food inspector, because I didn't realize this at the time, but everyone in there thought you were the food inspector. And
come on.
Yeah. So everyone was hiding stuff and trying to show that they weren't eating some nachos, and everyone was scrambling around when oh my God, the inspector's here. Because you came in a suit and the big badge and stuff. So, and they go, who is that? What? And then I go, no, that's
would the inspector always come in and start hugging people? Because that's what I did. Like, that'd be a weird vibe if the inspector always did that. Like,
the inspector
he's
comes
just
in and hugs.
checking pockets for wieners that are outside of the grill. Yeah.
What a creepy food inspector. He's hugging Gager's wife. Oh wow, that's pretty forward. Whatever. Hey, anything to pass, buddy. Anything to pass.
Exactly. That's right. Now I know I can walk around dressed like that, basically go to any concession and take whatever I want. Nobody's gonna say shit. So that's great news. That's absolutely wonderful news. Oh, God, Gager, that's too funny, man. I wish I would have known at the time. That would have been.
I wish I would have known at the time.
And swipe the table and been like, clean that up. Like,
next time we'll get you a white glove and just put it on.
Exactly. I'll put it on when I come in. Perfect. That's too good. Too good. NHL awards tonight. Connor McDavid's going to clean up the hardware there. He got engaged since we last had an episode as well. Looked like a very romantic scene. Well done, Connor McDavid. I don't know if we've ever talked about it on this podcast, but did you guys do up the engagement really fancy or like did you have a photographer hiding in the bushes? Like what because my story's a god awful embarrassing mess. But how'd your guys' go? Because I guarantee it was better than mine.
Go ahead, Cass.
Okay. Well, I mean, so we were the couple, like we knew we were going to get married before I had a chance to propose, and we knew we were going to get married in the summer because you couldn't do it in the off season, and we didn't want to wait like an extra year. So we knew it was going to be a pretty quick engagement. So my wife always makes fun, I make fun of her that she was that girl that was shopping for a wedding dress before she had a ring, where she was like telling the people like I'm going to get engaged. Trust me. Like I'm not just here.
It's planned out.
It's planned out. So she was still living down in Houston. I was in Minnesota still at the time. So she knew that the next time we saw each other, I probably was going to propose. Like I couldn't really fake on that. So my thought was, okay, well, when she comes up here, I'm going to pump fake her as many times as I can. Just so that there's some element of surprise. So I had it planned out at first. So I did some work. I got all her friends to help me. So like I talked to her boss, I booked her time off work without her knowing. Had friends like help with packing stuff. Like had one of her friends I sent some cash to. So she was like, oh, hey, let's go get our nails done sort of thing. Like I'm going to get a mani-pedi. Like, do you want to come with me? Because I knew she was going to want nails done like for whatever with the ring. So just kind of had a couple of days of stuff like lined up. And then, she got her best friend, who was also a teacher at the school she worked at, got to go in at lunchtime and tell her, hey, you need to leave, like go back home, grab your bags, pack a couple extra things that you maybe think you want. And then you got to go to the airport. You're going to Minnesota. So that worked perfect. So at that point, she knew it was coming on that trip. And then I just pump faked her a whole bunch of times. So it's like I left my shoelace untied. So like right when she got off the plane and like picked up the bag, like to go down to tie my shoe. And she is like the worst thing in the world for her would have been like a public like proposal. Like she's just like, it would be horrifying to her. So she actually said when I went to tie my knee, she's like, no, not here. Like that's what she said. She said, not here. So she said, not here. So I pump faked her a couple times. I ended up, I did it later that evening. But no big photographer or lots of
but good
around.
effort,
Like
though. You should have gone last on the stories. That's a pretty tough one to follow, buddy. Yeah. Well done. Gager, how was yours?
Well, I had to lock that thing down, so I knocked her up first. My wedding was a week before my son was born. It was almost Bodie Snow was going to be his name because so yeah, we did things a little bit backwards, but we had it was meant to be. Dusty, she can this way. She says it. She can always fit into her wedding dress because she was 9 months pregnant at the time.
That's a bonus in too. God, that's good. Mine was I'm very much a procrastinator. So our favorite, we were in Fort Mac at the time. We were already living together and stuff. And Tam, she didn't know it was coming for sure, but I talked to the dad and everything, and we're like, oh, it's gonna be good. So then I was just like, well, I'm gonna go buy a wedding ring today. And our favorite country band, Emerson Drive, was playing at a bar in Fort Mac like that night. So my plan, I was going to roll in that day, buy the engagement ring, and then just ask her to marry me at the concert that night. So I go in, I find the ring that I want to get. They're like, okay, it'll be here in 2 weeks, sir. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I need it tonight. They're like, no, it takes 2 weeks to come in and everything. I was like, shit. So I went to the concert. Would have been awesome. Didn't make it happen. And then just the day the ring rolled in, I went and picked it up, and I had it in my top drawer. We lived in a condo with another couple. So we just had our one bedroom, and then it's Fort Mac, and we're just laying around the room one day and we're talking and whatever. And she gets up to walk out of the room, and I quickly hopped over in the middle of the afternoon in a bedroom in Fort Mac. I hop in, I open up the top drawer, grab the ring quickly, and I said, hey, I don't want you to leave. And she goes, what? And she turned around, and I said, I don't want you to ever leave. And I got down on one knee, went to get the ring out, but I was shaking so much, I dropped the ring into a pile of laundry that was sitting to the left. So I had to dig into the pile of laundry, find the ring, eventually ask. And I mean, she said yes to that she's been my ride or die ever since. So like, I feel bad for her because everybody, like, if the girls are all sitting around like, oh, what was your story? What was your story? And hers is, Dustin randomly asked me the day the ring arrived when we were laying around our room in Fort Mac. It's just, it's not romantic.
But you know what, Dusty? It is whatever. I mean, whatever, they can share those stories, but at the end of the day, you got it done. She said
it's
yes.
worked for all three of us here, right? However you get it done, you got
some beautiful kids, so it's you're in good shape. Both you guys are in great shape. So well done. The important thing is we all locked it down, because
exactly.
If I there ain't no way now. No, not a chance. So no,
and we haven't screwed it up yet. So best of luck to Connor McDavid on his engagement. Now he's going to go and get a bunch of hardware tonight. It's just, and we'll whip through some of the words here in a second. But just going to Connor McDavid's Hockey DB page, it looks so 1980-ish. You know, like cleaning up the awards that the big guys used to clean up. You just don't see a Hockey DB page like the one that Connor McDavid's already put together. 2016-17, Art Ross, Hart, Ted Lindsay. 17-18, Art Ross, Ted Lindsay. 2021, Art Ross, Hart, Ted Lindsay. 21-22, Art Ross. 22-23, he's already got the Art Ross. He's got the Rocket Richard now. He's going to add another Lindsay. He's going to add another Hart trophy. And he's 26 years old. Like, this is one of those things where, oh boy, expectations were big coming in, Cass, but the dude's already blown it out of the water.
No, I mean, I think I said before we got on air here, like, Hall of Famer already at this point. Like, if he never played another game, he's a Hall of Famer. Pretty insane and spectacular. Like, there's nobody. And I know people are pumped for the draft and pumped for Connor Bedard and like, oh, he's going to be so good and all this and whatever, but there's generational players and there's generational players, and Connor McDavid is a generational player, like just ridiculous. I still say, to me, he is the most talented player of all time, and I know, and I use that word very specifically. I don't say the greatest of all time, because you'd like to see some Stanley Cups in there, but he is the most talented player of all time, bar none, in my opinion. His accolades to this point, I think, show that, and what he's doing now in a modern NHL, in a league of parity, and in a league of reduced offense compared to some of history. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We are so lucky to get to watch him. Like, I try not to take it for granted whenever I'm at a game and whenever, even if I'm watching on TV, getting to see him play, because it's just he's insane, absolutely insane. You
could probably just look at last year and it would be good enough to get into the Hall of Fame, considering it hasn't been done in decades, right? One year could put him in. So yeah, it's tough not to get caught up in his brilliance. It's like we talked about halfway through the year last year of they got to start playing defense, and the Oilers did have to start playing defense, but I myself found myself getting caught up in what he was doing and thinking, gosh, do the Oilers really need to play defense? It came to that. I go, God, I really think the Oilers have a chance to go up against these defensive-minded teams, because it doesn't matter. He's too good. But as it turns out, you do have to play a little bit of D.
Got to mix in just a tad, or have a goalie stand on your head. That would also go a long way. So Connor McDavid's about to haul in a bunch of hardware tonight. The Oilers, will be a quiet draft for the Oilers. We got some questions coming in on the live stream that we'll get to those as well. And one of them, as we can tie this into the awards, let me quickly bring up the awards finalists here. So, I mean, the Hart Trophy is McDavid, Pasternak, and Tkachuk. McDavid's obviously going to win that. Adam Fox, Eric Carlson, and Kale. Actually, quickly before we that, do you think it's unanimous for McDavid, or does somebody in Boston throw Pasternak a vote or two?
Someone throws him a vote.
I would think it should be
and
unanimous,
their justification,
in my opinion, but
they're probably just trying to stir the pot, but their justification is going to be, you're the best player and the best team in the regular season, and inutile history, and it's just like, no, you're just trying to stir the pot. Shut your mouth.
They're just trying wicked hard to screw up the entire
Wicked
thing.
hard to screw up the whole thing.
Yeah, that's not something you want to see. So the Norris Trophy, Erik Karlsson, phenomenal season. Adam Fox and Cale Makar. There's also some reports now that Erik Karlsson does want to end up on a winner here via trade. One of the questions we had already on the live stream was like, hey, could the Oilers possibly get in on Karlsson? Can we just say that ship has sailed, boys? Right?
No, you don't have the money. Okay. How are you going to make it? How are you going to make it fit? You can't.
Buddy, we don't worry about money, right? It's just we live in this fantasy world where money doesn't matter anymore, right? So even then, I wouldn't do it. Like, you've got Bouchard as your offensive right shot defenseman. You've brought in Ekholm. The other question that we've got that's rolled in here, because Carolina, there's reports that Carolina's trying to get Tony DeAngelo from Philly, and obviously he's worked there in the past. There's been some rumors that the Oilers are interested in Brett Pesce, which I think would be an amazing pickup if you can get your hands on him. But once again, Gager, the cash, I mean, it's just they can't even afford to keep their current players, right? Like that's the issue here.
Yeah, and I've been getting they're not death threats, but threatening that if the Oilers roll it back with the same lineup. And I do think they have the ability to do that and see the progression of some of their players. I think you have to with it on. Well, we'll find out what the cap's going up right tonight. Is there going to be an announcement if it's a little bit over $1 million, or is it set?
It's not going to be. It's not like it's all of a sudden going to be $5 million. So
yeah,
if it's a little bit more, it's going to be. It's not really going to make a difference. And people are still forgetting too. You still have to sign Ryan McLeod, who's got arb rights.
Yeah.
So like, and he's in no rush to sign. Why would he be? He doesn't want to be first out of the gate with comparables. Like, so he's gonna pump the brakes a little bit here and be patient. Rightfully so. I mean, there's no rush for him at this point to get things done. I mean, there'll be a push towards when ARB actually, is possible, but you still don't know how much money he's going to cost, and you're not going to get a big bump in the cap. So you just don't have cash to do a lot.
And look, man, I was thinking about this on my dog walk today. Everyone's talking about the East and the Beast and how big it was, but man, when you look at it, if the Oilers lose to the Kings, I think were the only other team to have a good shot against beating the Knights. The Kings go through, they could have been Stanley Cup champions as well. The Pacific Division is very difficult, and the fact that the Oilers were able to get past the Kings with the lineup they had, it's not. Are they a piece away, or are they players playing at a higher level away from getting to that next level? You add a piece, but then you get to, it doesn't automatically mean that everything's going to go smoothly and they're going to walk to the finals at that point. I think look at how strong they finished last season after they got Ekholm, right? They were automatic for the last month and a half of the season. But then you get to the playoffs, it's a different level. And I mean, as a group, they weren't good enough to get that job done. But I think they're going to be a juggernaut this year. Like in the regular season, I think they're going to be outstanding. Now, people are also messaging in about Connor Brown because, he's played with Connor McDavid and Jr. and obviously a friend. He's coming off an injury. I think, I can't remember where I saw, but I think people are speculating that he might be in the $3 million range. Cass, let me ask you this. Would you trade some draft picks to move Yamamoto's contract to spend that same money on Connor Brown?
Well, you're still taking a risk from an injury standpoint, but it's something you could look at, right? It's something certainly something you could take a look at. So if the option is out there to be able to do that, sure. Why wouldn't you take a peek at it? I mean, he is a guy that has history with Connor McDavid, but at the same time, you are dealing with a guy that's coming off an injury and has had injury problems too. So it's like, well, you just, kind of transitioning one guy that's had a bunch of injury problems last year to another. So I don't know, but to me, that's something to take a look at. Like I wouldn't be shocked.
Like that's something if it comes up, like management sits down and actually takes a good hard look. You got to chew through that one. Yeah, it's not an instant no. I don't think it's an instant yes, but I don't think it's an instant no. It's like, no, we gotta sit and talk through this and kind of even look at potential trade targets for later in the season if there's a deadline acquisition who may be available, and that's incredibly difficult to do because you don't know how teams are going to perform. But just you're going to speculate
how you can. So yeah, you'd have a meeting over it at the least.
Okay, so the one issue though, like to me is like when we were talking about everybody playing better or finding the piece, like Connor Brown's not that piece, right? Like overall, you'd like another defenseman that can kind of help shut things down on the back end. So, I mean, could he be an upgrade on Yamamoto? Possibly, if he's able to stay healthy this season. He's got 2 20-goal seasons. I mean, Yamamoto's scored at that pace as well, right? So, but he's not big. He's 6 feet tall, but he plays kind of gritty as well.
He plays gritty.
Yeah,
he's fast. Like I think he's faster than Yamo, isn't he? Like Connor Brown's is a speedster a little bit.
He's a good hockey player, man.
Like, but that's not the area. I don't think that needs filling to me. It's a D and one of either Campbell and Skinner going crazy for 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think that's probably the case. All right, there will be trades this week. It seemed like there was a lot of buzz. Torrey Krug was going to be involved in this deal to Philly and Hayes deal, but he's got a no trade clause. Said he doesn't want to waive it to go to Philly. I totally get it with the way that Philly's set up right now. I mean, this is why you have no movement clauses and no trade clauses, right? It's your right to exercise it and stay exactly where you are. The one name that's very intriguing to me, though, is Pierre-Luc Dubois. The Winnipeg Jets are obviously in a very difficult spot with a bunch of different guys. The Los Angeles Kings, by all accounts, were the front runner. Montreal apparently has circled around back into the mix. Cass, just to put this a spin on this from an Oilers perspective, the Los Angeles Kings with Pierre-Luc Dubois added into that group, man, all of a sudden, I mean, that's a team that's going to be, once again, a real problem for the Oilers.
Yeah, real problem. I mean, he that adds, some of the things that LA struggled with at times or struggles with in terms of offensive ability. I mean, he just moves you up that offensive ladder a little bit. I mean, he's another weapon for you, another weapon for depth. If he goes to LA, I mean, they're even better than they were last year. So yeah, I mean, it'd be a real challenge for Edmonton or for anybody if they're able to make that happen. Now, whether or not they are, we'll have to see. But yeah, it'd be pretty big for LA if they can make it work.
Oh, man.
That's a deadly team, man. It's fun. I'm still more scared of the Kings that I shouldn't be than the Knights, but the Kings just, maybe it's the unis. They just scare me.
Big black like big bullies.
Yeah. It's just, that was a good series, man. That was a really good series, the Kings and Oilers. That was very enjoyable to watch.
If you were Pierre-Luc Dubois, would you rather go to Montreal or Los Angeles?
Oh, LA, because you have a chance of winning a cup.
Yeah, right now, and there's Montreal, a lot of pressure on him going to Montreal, though. Like, on top of everything, the French-Canadian center that they've wanted since like Vincent Damphousse. You know what I mean? Like, that would be a lot to handle for him, man. Like,
well, it'd be a lot for anybody to handle, but they're further away from a championship too. So it's like, well, if the money's the same, I mean, you can go live less pressure in LA, and more likely that you're going to win a cup.
Yeah.
You go to LA, you live in Manhattan Beach where all those guys live. It's like a little Kings community in there, and then it's no one knows you outside Manhattan. It's perfect.
I think it was Elliot Friedman who tweeted that an Oiler had texted him and said one of the motivations they had a couple years ago against the Flames was to end what they were building there when they played. Cass, do you think if the Flames beat the Oilers in that series, that group's still together? Like Kachuk and Johnny Gaudreau are still there? So,
because it's Sutter.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fun concept to think, oh, man, the Oilers ended the Flames, but you're right. If they would have won, Sutter would have been there still, and then,
the Flames ended the Flames. Like it's even if you look at all the guys that reportedly want out of there now, it's all spillover from that. Like you couldn't bring Sutter in for longer than that half season, 3/4 of a year, one full season. You just couldn't. You were going to antagonize a group too much, and young players that just can't deal with that. And again, that's not taken away from Sutter and anything he's done in his career. He's got cups. He found ways to win with organizations and do a great job, but it just doesn't work in the modern NHL, and being standoffish with guys, not giving young players opportunities, forcing players to play out of position that are your best player. Like No, as much as we would like to think Edmonton forced that, it wasn't Edmonton forcing that. It was internal, the decisions that they made that did it.
It's kind of fun to see, though. I like the fact that no, but for years now, you hear about, oh, no one wants to play in Edmonton because it's Edmonton. Calgary's a much better place. We have the mountains and these things, and then you see this max exodus out of Alberta's jewel, right? So yeah, it's the same thing. You kind of build it, and people want to come there. You build a nicer rink. You get some people that put you in contention to win, and you do have people that want to come and play for your team. So I like that narrative's kind of been shut down with Calgary being the nicer place to play. So
mission accomplished on that front, boys. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Two Guys a Goalie. We will have another episode on Thursday, breaking down everything going on at the NHL draft, which should be a real fun episode. Very much look forward to that. I bet you we'll have at least one or two trades around the league to discuss, and who knows, maybe the Edmonton Oilers do get busy. That's good. This is it. The food inspector is out. Boys, you have a great Monday, and I will talk to you guys on Thursday. All right.
Perfect.
Right.
This is the new me, guys. The new me. Awesome.